So it seemed like maybe the most buzz, arguably, I think realistically, coming out of BlizzCon, Diablo Immortal.
Yeah, everybody's just
The
jacked
most
for
buzz
this thing.
or the most...
The most discussion.
Certainly.
Let's put it that
Certainly,
way.
yeah,
Right? This is such a tough case. What a tough one. So Wyatt Cheng, the lead game designer, gets out there, sets up that it's a mobile game, which thank God they did that, because when we were at the studio, we talked to several people about like, you aren't just going to show the cinematic first, right? You're going to explain this is a mobile game so people don't get their hype too high. And they're like, we don't know yet. But thank God they explained it's a mobile game. But even that couldn't cut into the reaction of people just being outraged that this is not a PC game. Dan, what was it like in the room?
I've been to a lot of BlizzCons.
Yeah.
This was certainly the only time that I can think of that it was, I don't know, it was so down. There was nothing. There was no reaction, which is terrible, right? For BlizzCon situation when you've got everybody waiting on every word, ready to love what you're throwing out there. I think the net, as soon as that NetEase symbol went up, that was when people started like looking at each other and raising eyebrows, and then I've never seen anything like it. Just dead silence.
Really?
I mean, well, not completely dead, but compared to every single other thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was It was very noticeable.
And then it just seemed to grow and grow and grow throughout the weekend of people getting more and more hurt. Like even
Right.
friends who are like barely into games, like, yeah, I heard there's some new Diablo game that's spitting on the grave of everything Diablo stands for. And it's like, well.
So I'm not certainly not in the spitting on the grave camp and all that stuff. I mean, I think having a mobile Diablo game is fine. Like having any of these games is fine. But this is, for one thing, there's a lot of different elements that came into creating this sort of perfect storm for this reveal.
Totally.
They're ending on it, so it's a big closer, right? It's a NetEase partnership. We have no reason to believe that it's going to have anything but a monetization model that NetEase is known for at this point.
Well, and NetEase is they make a bunch of mobile games in China specifically, all free to play.
No, I don't know that for sure, but that's
Yeah.
the majority. They are a microtransaction.
Do you know
model.
if they're known for having aggressive microtransactions?
They are known for having aggressive microtransactions.
Okay, but Blizzard hasn't said anything yet, but clearly
Correct.
this thing's going to be free to play.
I mean, they haven't said anything, so
Right.
we can't say anything. But
Well, I mean, if
it
I
is-
was a
it is
gambling man.
it is a fair. It is. I have no reason to believe that it will be anything other than that at
Right.
this point. Correct.
Well, I mean, it
and
feels
that-
like it's a game that they're making to try to get Diablo in front of more people.
Certainly.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Certainly.
I mean, I think that's at least my instinct on that. And
Right.
like, free to play is how you, if you want to market a game on mobile, and particularly a brand, I mean, free to play is how you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's for certain. Again, so this is another case of like expectations and place and timing and all this other stuff. Like, if this was revealed at some other show, like as an off thing, no one would have cared. But as the centerpiece or the closer for Blizzard's house, right? Like it's a tough sell, and
I think from Blizzard's point of view, it's like, it's a new Diablo game. And I think from their point of view too, they tried to, because the hype was building for this thing, and they put out a statement that some sites picked up and ran saying, hey everybody, these are very exciting times. We currently have multiple teams working on different Diablo projects, and we can't wait to tell you all about them when the time is right. We know that many of you are hoping. We know what many of you are hoping for, and we can only say that good things come to those who wait, but evil things take longer.
Right.
That was their very cutesy way of just saying, like, don't expect Diablo 4, but that doesn't hit the mass audience. And so some people, I think, were still expecting that, and then just hearing, what is this mobile thing? Which I understand people being upset that the next Diablo isn't announced. We don't know anything about it. But at the same time, I think it's important to note that this mobile game isn't slowing down the development on the next main Diablo game. Like, don't see this as a replacement for that in any way.
I don't even know if it's not just that. Like, a lot of people see this as a shift in the culture, and like absolutely. And I don't know. It's a strange thing to land, to have as their linchpin for BlizzCon as it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I think overall, like last year's BlizzCon was really good. They had a lot of announcements, right? So you're going off a high to a low. I think this gave an opportunity for a lot of people to create their own optics around it. I mean, I heard so many crazy stories that were like, this is why Mike left.
Totally.
This is the new CEO's finally bowing down to like what Activision wants. And you're like, Activision's owned Blizzard forever. You know what I mean? Like it has nothing to do with that. It has more to do with like Hearthstone makes more money than probably a lot of the key franchises, maybe even Diablo, right? Like, as like it I don't know the financials, but it's realistic when you have a game that got as big as Hearthstone
got.
And I think Blizzard is a company's investing a lot of money in esports and giving a lot, I think, around their games and building things around their games, and to be like, hey, we want to like, if we want to spend the $100 million we want to spend on Diablo 4, and I'm making that number up, right? Like, we need to make a bigger audience for Diablo. How do we do that? I mean, these are questions I think I would ask if I was, you know, like trying to run Blizzard and trying to run Diablo and looking at where we're making money and where we're not making revenue.
Yeah.
And to think, I mean, the reality is there's a ton of people who play mobile games, right? And that's all they play. I have friends that do that now, and I'm like, that's weird. That's all you play, right? I do play mobile games, but it's like a complement to my normal gaming routines, right?
Yeah.
But there's people in the world out there that can only play on phone, right? Or only have an opportunity to play on phone. And I mean, I can't get mad at Blizzard for wanting to give games to other people. Like, Diablo's a great series. Maybe they'll do something good with it in this space. I don't know if the game's good or not yet, but like, I'm hopeful. I'm going to try it.
It's about what you'd expect.
Yeah.
You know, it controls about as well as you'd imagine virtual joysticks controlling a Diablo thing. Inventory is a little bit wonky because
well, we haven't seen what it's really like in the inside the inventory yet.
It's just a matter of like, hey, here's this piece of equipment on the ground. I guess I'll just tap it to auto equip it here and keep things rolling. So it's a little bit like simplified and streamlined that way so far.
Yeah, and it's okay to be disappointed that it wasn't the game you wanted.
Right.
That's fine, but at the same time, like, I'm not going to like say this game's a disaster until I play it and truly grasp what it is. Like, Blizzard entering the mobile space, I want to know what that is. That could be something completely different.
They've been there.
They've been there, and this isn't really them. But although...
Right, but it has their name on that, and I want to see...
Right.
And it's one of their flagship franchises, and I want to see what that is before like I weigh in on it completely.
Now that said, they screwed up.
Oh, yeah.
What they came and the way that they showed things at... I mean, I think even the Tuesday before that, I think Joe was in the meeting, goes like, well, I mean, they're showing Diablo 4 there. And I was like, we don't think so. And he was like, well, that would just be dumb. You know, to just, you know, like, just kind of matter of fact. And I think a lot of people see that as like the kind of obvious optic problem of like, that's what you're hanging your hat on. But obviously Blizzard didn't see it that way, right?
Totally.
And I think, you know, I think people were, I haven't heard people saying like, they just started Diablo 4 now because everyone was so mad about Diablo
That's
Mobile.
insane.
And it's just
There's
like,
no way.
that's not happening.
Yeah.
I mean, Blizzard screwed up in the way that they showed this and presented it and closing with it and not having some kind of teaser, even simple, that was like, you know, Diablo appears 2020-ish.
I'll return.
You know, on PC, right?
Totally.
You know what I mean? Like,
and Kotaku had that story that they were discussing that there were strong discussions about
Which
teasing
was
Diablo 4.
debunked, though.
Well, no.
Yeah,
the idea of
Blizzard
putting
came
the-
back and said
was
they had
debunked.
nothing that they were going to show.
Really?
Yes.
I thought it was just the idea of them
No.
filming the video specifically for that.
No, they said they did not pull anything from their show.
Interesting. Okay.
That doesn't mean the game isn't in development.
Right.
But to your point, I think that's something Bethesda does really well. Like when they announced Fallout Shelter, that was in the wings of Fallout 4.
Right.
Elder Scrolls, what is it called?
Blades?
Blades? Oh, God. Elder Scrolls Blades, you know, they, at the end of that show, announced a quick teaser for Elder Scrolls 6.
Right.
So
It's always got
They
to be
should've-
a 1-2 punch there.
they
yeah.
definitely realized that people were going to be mad about multiplayer Fallout, mobile, Elder
Exactly.
Scrolls.
Yeah.
By the way, we're still doing what you want. Right?
Right.
You're right. That's
Right.
right. You know,
Right.
Elder
Now-
Scrolls did do that.
now, if Diablo 4 is going to be made exclusively for VR, maybe it was good that they didn't like announce that, but they should have had like the teaser and like maybe it's not going to be called Diablo 4, but some kind of name or something coming to PC or something.
Right. Or just, the words Diablo. That's all you got to do.
Or
well,
reorder it.
nobody
Do
knows
Overwatch
it-
last. Do
it's-
Diablo at the beginning.
Right.
You
They
know
If
what
they
I mean?
closed on
Like,
Warcraft
there's-
3, that's just nothing but goodwill. You know, like the
Yeah.
community was ready to eat that up.
I agree.
Yeah, it's an odd choice for sure. But I don't know. What are you going to do, Dan?
I don't think, like I don't think you're a whiny man baby for being disappointed about
No,
this reveal.
but I
just
do
want-
think
yeah.
I totally agree.
Certainly.
But I mean, I read way too many YouTube comments and like some of the hate going towards
Right,
like
okay.
Wyatt Chang in
Obviously,
particular, like that
that's
is outrageous.
any
Like that
kind
dude
of-
loves Diablo more than most people on earth.
There's
like,
a difference between disappointment and like, we need to kill Blizzard, right? And it's like, and that's
And we
like, those are the extremes.
Obviously, that stuff is not acceptable whatsoever. But
and I heard people that were literally saying that Diablo was done, that the franchise was dead forever, because I mean, like the drama
Right.
that went along
Yeah.
with it. It's one thing to be like, well, that sucks. I want a Diablo 4, to like, this franchise is dead forever. Blizzard is dead forever.
yeah.
They're going to make WoW a mobile game. You know,
Oh,
I mean, it's
boy.
just like, oh God.
Yeah. In an interview though, the new president, J. Allen Bragg, who you talked to, right, Dan?
yeah, I did.
Reset Era just pointed out yesterday that he did confirm that they were making more mobile games and some more completely internal. And there were like job postings a while back about a mobile RTS with familiarity with the Warcraft franchise. So I'm hoping that one is internal and it's some sort of unique mobile take on a Warcraft RTS. Like that sounds very exciting. And I think I look forward to their mobile efforts, even if I'm not clamoring to play Diablo Immortal.
There's so many factors that went into making this what it became and spiraled out of control into. And one of those was the fact that it wasn't completely internally developed. The NetEase Association is not giving them any kind of goodwill here.
Especially like,
but the NetEase thing definitely says like the other team is doing something else.
Yeah, it's not taking away from what you
100%.
want. Right,
and their cute spin on it was like, well, back with Diablo back in the day, I mean, it was Blizzard North that was making that. So it's kind of like working with an external partner. And it's like, yeah, but come on, Blizzard, it's a little bit different. And they were very cagey too. Like they wouldn't talk about who exactly is doing what, how the development is being split. But it seemed pretty clear that NetEase is picking up the bulk of development here, and then Blizzard's kind of, showing the rough direction and all that. But hey, 6 classes, Dan? What do you think of actually playing this thing?
Yeah, I mean, oh gosh, there's not a lot there to play in the demo, right?
Yeah.
But I wasn't blown away or anything. It feels a lot like other similar games in the same vein.
Right.
I didn't get the extra, Most of the time I play a Blizzard game and I lose my mind. Like, it's like, wow, everything is so amazing. I don't think seriously, like, ever since Warcraft 1, right? And it's just like, I'm just like, wow, this is great. This is really great for X reasons. And I'm just like, here, I'm like, I feel like I've played this. And, all right.
The thing is, I think what disappointed me maybe about it was that, like, I like the idea of that. Like, that's why I love Diablo on my Switch. I was like, my plane travel is never going to be the same again.
Totally.
Diablo on a platform like that I know it's going to, not be 100% PC, but I mean, like, be a great version of that game. Like, I'm totally sold. Is that I do kind of fall into, like, a lot of people were talking about, like, WoW has a whole pet system and a whole pet battle system, and there's like all these like Pokemon games or Pokemon Go that people are playing where they do pet battles and things like that, and like that would be fun and one that's complementary to a game that exists. And I really like it when Blizzard thinks of ways to work in and interweave their current games. Do you know what I mean? And it becomes part of that universe.
Yeah.
And like the Diablo Mobile just sounds like its own standalone kind of thing. I know it's in the lore a little bit, whatever, after Diablo 2.
It's between 2 and 3. Yeah. Hey, find out where Deckard Cain was. What's he up to in that gap?
Yeah.
He's killing demons.
I'll be damned.
But I'd like to see more interesting connections. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's one of the things that was great about Hearthstone too, is that like I could play it on my mobile phone, I could play it on my iPad, I could sit at my PC and play it.
And that's another thing that, that was just it was just thing after thing after thing where they said, no PC, just mobile.
Yeah, it's rough.
Right? Like, just looking for anything, any reason to give them some more goodwill. And
it broke some of the rules we love Blizzard for.
Yeah.
Right? Like on the way that they do things, right?
That was just a clip from a larger show called The Game Informer Show. You can find it on iTunes, Google Play, or GameInformer.com. We take the fun opportunities and exclusive information from Game Informer magazine and boil it into a show that airs every Thursday with exclusive cover story information, developer interviews, a lot of fun stuff. So come love games with us.